Home Sweet Homeschool. If you're new here, my name is Ashley and I'm a homeschooling mom to one. And in today's video, I'm going to give you a flip through of Gather Round's newest unit, Botany. So if you've been interested in seeing what's on the inside of this unit, then you want to check out this video. So I'm going to show you kind of how I set it up. Now, if you've watched my past flip through videos, I usually use my Pro Click, but for some reason, I didn't do that this time. This is actually going to be one of our last units of the year, and I just wasn't feeling it. So know that you don't have to have a Pro Click to bind these units. A 3-ring binder works perfectly fine. So this flip through is going to look a little different than my other flip throughs. So I'm going to show you the teacher's guide first, and then I'll show you my son's student pages, and then I'll show you some of the extras that go along with it. So like I said, this is the Botany one. I do buy the one student digital. You can buy these digitally or printed. If you buy digital and you buy the full bundle, you're going to get all the levels, because remember, you can teach all of your children from preschool all the way to high school with these units. So you'll get all the levels if you do the digital bundle, but I do the one student bundle and I just print it at home on my HP printer using HP Instant Ink, and all that's listed down below in case you want to check out my printer or become a part of the Instant Ink program. It really does a great job printing these pages. The colors are beautiful. So I've never had any issues printing any of this. And I actually just print this on like copy paper. Like, I don't spend a lot of money on paper, so this actually prints really well. So if you're interested in that, you can check out my printer and the Instant Ink code down below. So this is what it looks like. This is the lesson planner that you're going to get at the beginning. You can use this any way you want to, or you don't even have to use it at all. I just use it to kind of write down things I need to pick up or some things that I need to do. And as you can see, I've started planning, but I haven't gotten very far along. And some of this is going to be on front and back, and some of it's not, because let me tell you what happened. I hit print and we had a massive thunderstorm. And it shut our power off for a few minutes, and when it came back on, it would not pick up where it left off, and I ended up having some printing issues because the power went out. I have struggled lately on my past 2 units to print them, and it's not the unit, it's me, it's the user. So the weather kind of messed me up this day, so if you see blank pages or you see something that doesn't make sense, it's because of me. So you have a place for a list and for notes, adventures and shopping. Right here I'm going to make a list of the books I want us to read. I like to write those kind of things down too. Then you have a supply list, which is super helpful. The units that you're going to be doing experiments or things like that, you're going to have a supply list so that you can go ahead and get prepared ahead of time, and that is so helpful. Then you have this book and resource list. If you are new to Gather Round, that right here, that is suggested. You do not have to have these books to complete the unit. These are just, if you want extra stuff to read, you can check them out here. And the great thing is that she has them color-coded by level. So that is awesome. So I always put that in here just in case I want to refer to it. Look at there. That is a ton of books. Then you have your table of contents. So you're going to cover what is botany, many parts, one plant, stable stems, luscious leaves, flashy flowers, fascinating fruits, rustic roots, super seeds, pretty pollinators, terrific trees. Have you noticed we're doing a little bit of alliteration here? Yeah. Healthy herbs, creative cover crops, stunning succulents, majestic moss, forest ferns, famous fungi, water and weeds, perilous plants, turning tropisms, and then conservation and stewardship. There went our alliteration. And then an appendix. So, by the way, I love how they did botany at the top. That's adorable. All right. You have this here at the beginning. So, like I told you in all of mine, they do start with a prayer. Then you have a note to the teacher. Each day what your kids are going to do. So it says each day students have a notebooking page in their student notebook that will help them sketch and take notes while they listen. Older students should take notes while they listen to practice their note-taking skills, while younger students will need more guidance and support. For an easy way to work with younger kids without too many interruptions, choose a different colored highlighter for each child, and as you read, have students put up their hand if a fact or detail is something they want to include in their notes. Highlight the sentence or detail in their color highlighter and continue reading. And at the end of the lesson, you can hand the teacher's guide, pass it around. They can find their notes and put them in their notebooking page. And I thought that was a terrific idea to share. That's why I wanted to share that with you. So this says, these are some cool things you will know at the end of today's lesson. So I really like that. I thought that was interesting. And you guys, look here. Another user problem. I'm telling you, I was off my game the day I printed this. I punched the holes on the wrong side. I mean, come on. So this is the first lesson. Look how beautifully it printed. This is Why Should I Study Botany? Plant Anatomy. Identifying plants with the classification chart. Let me move this. Let's see what else we have. Tools of study. And then this is what you're going to do. This is Watch Me Grow. You're going to plant that little bean seed and you're going to watch it grow and you're going to come back to it and you're going to notebook about it. This says students, what you're going to do. Here's today's checklist. And here's some vocabulary that you might want to use with your kiddos today. Here's your day at a glance. So this is everything that's happening. And then this is the answers if you need answers. Okay, so sometimes it's going to, the answers will be based on what the kids want to write. There won't be like one specific answer. So if it needs answers, it will have them. If not, then you know your kids need to come up with those answers. All right. Let's look at lesson 3, stable stems. So you're going to review. I like this little built-in review. So you're talking all about stems. Stems that we eat. You're going to go on an edible scavenger hunt. How fun is that? That is so fun. Special stems, how stems can help us. You're going back to look at your bean plant. And then here's your day at a glance. Now, let me show you this. So this is lesson 4. So you're learning about photosynthesis, leaf anatomy, types of leaves, types of trees. Go back and look at your bean seed, all that fun stuff. Now, what's going to happen, and I'm going to show you this in the student notebook. About every 4th lesson, you're going to have some review. And so I want to show you that in case you're thinking, how am I going to know my kids are learning? If I'm not testing them, how am I going to know they're learning? I'm going to show you. I promise there is a way. So let's go back a little further. Look how good these printed. Let's go back a little further and look. How about we look at lesson 14? So this is all about majestic moss. You've got your review. You've got an activity break. You're doing an extension activity if you want to. You're looking at this again. So you're keeping on coming back to these things. Here's your day at a glance, okay? So let me show you. I put this folder in here because I needed a place to kind of put the appendix stuff. So this was in the appendix. These are the answers to the bingo narration. This is what's so fun about this unit is the review, the built-in review is a bingo game. So about every 4th lesson, you're going to play a bingo game over the things you've learned. And so here's the answers for you. And I did find that in the appendix. And so I went ahead and printed that out so I would have it. This was in my son's appendix, the scientific method lab sheet. And then all of these printables right here. So their language arts this time is going to be a little different. If you're looking for a focused grammar lesson, you're not going to find that in botany. And that's what I love about it. They're actually learning how to nature journal in this for their language arts. And I think that is so wonderful. How creative is that? I'm really looking forward to it. These pictures are back here in the appendix in case your children do not want to draw what it's asking them to journal about. If you do not have a very strong drawer or you have a child that just really isn't into drawing, they can cut out these pictures from the appendix and they can use them in their journal. So there is actually a lesson where they can create their own nature journal, or you can buy a notebook. I'll show you what we're going to use before we end this video. So all of this is in the appendix. All right, that wouldn't go in their nature journal, but this is in the appendix of the kids' notebook. So my son is in upper elementary. It works very well for him. He's a 12-year-old. He would technically be a 6th grader, but the upper elementary is a perfect spot for him to be in. And so, like I said, I printed this one a little differently. So I've got his week 1 seat work, and because we just use it for the spelling words, I did not print the back. So if you get the file, the back is going to have a place for them to write their copy work. It is going to include some other things. I didn't print that because we don't need it. We make this curriculum work for us, and you can do the same thing. So I went over the spelling focus for him already, and we talked about it. The ones with circles are the ones that he is going to practice. Those are the ones that he missed. Those are the ones he'll practice for the week. So that's what we have. The copy works here, and if you print it like you're supposed to, you'll have a place on this side to write the copy work, but you can always use your own notebook, or your children can even type it. It's really up to you. Here's the notebooking page. They're going to work on vocabulary. They're going to list some jobs that botanists might do, and they're going to write out reasons why we may study botany. You have branches of science. Here's the botany book, the DIY botany book. You can do that, or we have this notebook already at the house. You can buy these at Walmart. They're very, very cheap, and they're just blank pages. And so that's what he's going to use. And he just took some of my Happy Planner stickers and put leaves on the front and made his own cover. So you can make a journal if you want to, or you can buy one. Whatever's easiest for you. That will be totally fine. And so here's the rest of lesson 1. So life that breathes. This is detective. Here's notebooking for page 2. This is for the scavenger hunt, the parts of a plant. And if you don't want to do it like on this page, I know there are tons of fun label the plant activities that you could do. If you see this and you're like, I'd rather do something more hands-on, you can certainly do that. You don't have to just do the worksheet. These are in here. Same page alert. This means that from early reader to upper elementary has the same page. So those will be in there if your children have the same page. So lesson 2, this is what their first page looks like. They're going to complete a page of nature journaling, so it tells them to illustrate it and to write it. Then they have some social studies about Johnny Appleseed. And this talks about the body of Christ. Lesson 3 is, here's their notebooking page. Name that stem. They have to unscramble. Indigenous peoples. The birch tree, and then they need to go work in their botany book. Okay. Then here's 4. Here's their notebooking, their science for photosynthesis. And usually for science, I'm always going to add a video and some hands-on stuff because my son loves science. So, you know, this is a great page, but I will probably add a little more to it. And I tend to do that with the science. Leaf identification, and then here, go work in your botany book. Now, this is what I wanted to show you. Here is the bingo board. So you will use your answers, and your child will have this board, and I'm assuming if they get it right, then they can mark that spot on their board. So that would be a lot of fun to play this game. And then what I decided to do, because that ends week 1, I went ahead and put week 2 seat work right behind it. We start a new week, we would need to do our spelling words, and it's just right there after the review. Because I'm going to do the review at the end of the week, I want to go ahead, test him on week 1's words, make sure and see what he knows, if we need to carry any over to the next week, and then I'm going to give him that pre-test so we know what we need to work on in the second week. And that's how I set this up through the whole book. So, like I said, it's every 4 lessons. So if we go look at lesson 14, so your notebooking page, keystone species, identifying moss, here's your botany book, more about moss. I'm trying to show you some further along. So here's 15. I love the illustrations in this one. I'm always blown away by the artwork. Here's a science experiment on yeast. Here's a crossword puzzle. Those are fun with an extension activity. Here's more botany book. And then this goes at the end of lesson 16. So here's your narration for week 4, lesson 16. You could, you don't have to put these at the end of the lesson. If you need to keep them in a separate folder, you organize it the way you need to. And then I went ahead and put week 5. So that is how this is laid out through the whole unit. So your language arts is going to be building that botany nature journal. And I think that's going to be so much fun. Now, another thing you can print out, and I will show you these. Let's move this. So another thing you can print out, you can also order these from Gather Around Homeschool. You can order these off their website in color, but those kind of things just don't matter to me. If you want them in color, they're beautiful, and you can get them from their website, but you can also print these off in black and white. So you've got types of leaves, you've got shapes of leaves, types of flowers, fruit classification. Is that poems? I'm not sure. Berries. Is it droops? I guess I should have checked these words, you know. Roots, seeds, the bee life cycle, and the fern life cycle. And I just printed these on cardstock. This one, of course, came in color. These other ones did not. I printed them on cardstock, and they're just going to be tucked into my folder, so when we need to reference them, we can. So, there you go. That is the Botany unit from Gather Around Homeschool. I think this is the perfect time to start this unit. I mean, you could probably do it anytime, but this spring to me, all I think about is flowers and plants. So if you have any questions about Gather Around Homeschool or this Botany unit, please leave them in the comments down below, because I love talking about Gather Around and I love sharing any information that I can. Make sure you like and hit that subscribe button if this kind of content interests you. And as always, thank you so much for watching.